KLM.
Terrain.
Underneath.
Pull up.
Get off. Get off.
And then
March 27, 1977, the day aviation witnessed its greatest tragedy. It all started with a terrorist attack in Las Palmas, in the Canary Islands. A bomb exploded at the airport, temporarily closing the terminal, although there were no fatalities. The incident forced several flights to be diverted to Los Rodeos Airport, on the neighboring island of Tenerife. Los Rodeos was not prepared to handle such intense traffic. Within hours, its taxiways and aprons were congested, while hundreds of passengers and crew members anxiously awaited a solution. Among the diverted aircraft were the Boeing 747s, one from KLM, Flight KL 4805, arriving from Amsterdam, and another from Pan Am, Flight PA 1736, which had departed from Los Angeles with a stopover in New York. The KLM aircraft, carrying 134 passengers and 14 crew members, parked in a way that blocked the Pan Am's exit. Pan Am's captain, Victor Grubbs, chose to keep the passengers on board, believing the stopover would be brief. Meanwhile, KLM's captain, Jacob Van Zanten, was concerned with another issue: crew duty limits. If they didn't depart in time, the flight would have to be canceled, requiring a new crew from the Netherlands, delaying operations by at least 12 hours. With Las Palmas reopening, flights began to be cleared for departure. KLM decided to take advantage of the wait time to fully refuel the aircraft, saving time on the next stopover. Meanwhile, a dense fog started spreading over the airport, drastically reducing visibility. Finally, takeoff procedures began. KLM received permission to taxi to the threshold of runway 30 and make a 180th turn before taking off. Pan Am was instructed to follow behind and exit at the third taxiway to a parallel taxiway. However, due to inadequate signage and communication difficulties with the tower, the American crew missed the correct exit and continued to the next one dot at that moment. Van Zanten completed his turn and advanced the throttles. His co-pilot warned that they had not yet received takeoff clearance, causing him to briefly abort. Then, upon receiving instructions about the route after takeoff, the captain mistakenly interpreted the message as clearance and released the brakes again. At the same time, Pan Am was trying to communicate its position, but simultaneous transmissions caused interference. In KLM's radio, the crucial warning from the control tower was masked by a sharp noise, making the message inaudible. Unable to see beyond the fog, both planes were now on the same runway, unaware of each other's presence. When Captain Grubbs finally saw KLM's lights emerging from the mist, he desperately tried to steer off the runway, applying full power, but the inertia of a Boeing 747 is immense, and the aircraft started moving too late. Van Zanten realized the danger at the last second. He pulled the controls hard to try and take off before the impact, but the speed was still insufficient. The aircraft dragged its tail along the runway for 20 meters, gained some altitude, but not enough to avoid the collision. KLM's lower fuselage struck the upper section of Pan Am, destroying part of the cockpit and central fuselage. The impact caused an instant fire, spreading burning fuel across the runway. Out of control, KLM lost one of its engines and crashed 150 meters ahead, sliding upside down before exploding. All 248 occupants died on impact. On Pan Am, the fire spread rapidly. The fuselage broke apart in several places, allowing some passengers and crew to escape before flames consumed the rest of the aircraft. Only 61 people, including the captain, co-pilot, and flight engineer, survived. The other 335 passengers and crew members died due to impact, fire, and explosions from the leaking fuel. The investigation determined that a sequence of errors and adverse circumstances led to the disaster. Van Zanten's urgency to take off as quickly as possible, ambiguous radio communication, low visibility, Pan Am's exit confusion, and the lack of ground radar at the airport were key factors. Investigators concluded that KLM's captain was primarily responsible for not waiting for confirmation from the tower and for ignoring warnings from his own crew. His history as a flight instructor, being away from real piloting for too long, may have influenced his decision-making. The Tenerife accident led to significant changes in aviation safety. The phraseology of communication between pilots and towers was standardized to eliminate ambiguities, and co-pilots were encouraged to question captains' decisions when necessary. Additionally, Airports worldwide began adopting surface radar to better monitor ground aircraft movements. In aviation, a chain of events usually needs to align for an accident to occur. If a single factor had been different, this tragedy could have been avoided. But that day, all the pieces fell into place in the worst possible way, and so, 583 people lost their lives in the deadliest air disaster in history. Did you like the video? Leave your like and subscribe to the channel to follow more content like this. Your support is very important to us. Thank you for watching.